Welcome to Real Paranormal Activity, the network. Entertainment you'll enjoy.
You are listening to an RPA production, where people gather. LaFosse Corporation, LLC.
I got asked to come to Greer, Arizona. Greer, Arizona, there's a hotel there that I was told was built on some Indian burial ground. I don't know if that's true or not. But I got asked to come to Greer and to spend a night in this hotel that had a ghost named Zeke. Zeke was a ghost that people reportedly had seen. I think Zeke killed his bride, and he was still haunting, still showing up in this place. And many people had encountered Zeke, and some people had come there to spend the night and left in the middle of the night because he sort of appeared. Yeah, sure, right, okay, whatever. I didn't really take a whole lot of it very serious. And at first I said no, but then my wife thought it would be fun. And my youngest son at the time, my second son, he thought it would be fun. So we decided to spend the night in this hotel. And the next morning, we were going to tell our experiences if we had some supernatural experience. So, but it'll be a fun thing to do. We got there just before sundown. So we had nice dinner and all that. And then we had a room and everything was pretty normal. We retired for the evening and went to sleep. And then about 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. And I'm not sure what woke me up. I just, I woke up and I noticed over my son's bed was this intense light. The room was dark, but it was like this ball of light that was just sort of kind of hovering over my son's bed. And it was sort of hanging there. First, I questioned myself, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Because it really seems kind of, this light is sort of over my son. And so then after I kind of made sure that I was really awake. And I woke my wife up and I said, don't panic, but look over at Rocky's bed and tell me if you see what I think I'm seeing. And then she went, oh my God, it's over, something here. It's okay. Once it sort of went down to the foot of the bed and then sort of moved toward the door, it just went the opposite. It was just this intense black mass that just felt like it was someone for sure standing at the door, inside the room. It was like a person there, and you could see because the light around the door that came from the outside, when it moved, it would block the light. My son, who kind of heard my wife sort of panicking, and he kind of woke up.
What's that?
He looked over and said, Daddy, somebody's in the room. And I was certain that when I turned the light on, that we would see this person, this entity or whatever. Just hold on. And now! And there was nobody there. We just sort of panicked and wanted to get out of the room. We thought we could go someplace where there were other people and we'd be safe. Unfortunately, we didn't find other people and we didn't feel that way. And then my son sort of went over to the door of the room that this person supposedly had killed his bride. The door was unlocked. He opened the door, and there was nobody there. And then the door, we could hear it opening more. And then we looked over, and then we got this, it was like a chill. It was like a wind that just sort of swept over us. And then we panicked. We ran and we ran. And it ran what seemed like a long time. We realized we had no clue where we were going. And I have no idea where Greer is on the map, and there was no place to run. So we had no choice but to go back to the room. And so the next morning, I was just dying to tell what had happened. And then the other people there, they started talking, only to find that everybody there had had some experience very similar. So that was kind of interesting because it was not just me, but it was my wife and my son along as well. And we took off the next morning, and that's the last time I've been to Greer, Arizona.
Hi, I'm Elliot Van Dusen, Director of Paranormal Phenomena Research and Investigation and co-author of Evil in Exeter. You're listening to Real Paranormal Activity, the podcast with Aaron Hunter.
Welcome. I'm Aaron Hunter, purveyor of paranormal stories, the occult, and the unexplained. Welcome to RPA. I hope you enjoy your stay. Hey guys, Aaron here, and it is Monday, January 1st, 2024, episode 311. How's everyone out there around the world doing? And always glad to be back in the hot seat. So, how you guys feeling? Huh? Guys doing okay? Nursing a little hangover there? Yeah, I'm a vet for that. Man, I've, for decades, I've done that. But I survived. I no longer go out there anymore. But yeah. It's 2024. And as you old-timers know, on New Year's Eve, I love to, stay home. And I listen to the police scanner, and I listen to all the newbies out there, just getting into trouble. There's this one point where someone got pulled over, and I'm listening. All of a sudden, I stopped what I'm doing. I started yelling at the scanner. I was going, "Hey, man, get the hell out of there. They're coming. They're calling for backup. Come on. Get going, put that thing in drive, turn off the lights. I've seen it in the movies. It works. Come on, you got to get out of there." But he didn't listen to me. And guess what? Yep, they got him. Oh, well, he'll learn. But yeah, RPA is in season 10. Couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you very much for keep on listening. We appreciate it. We have a full week for you. Tomorrow, Tuesday, a new episode of Aaron's Horror Show, and this Wednesday, a new episode of Terry's Mysterious Moments with Terry from Texas. And this Thursday, a new episode of Soul Sisters, which comes out bi-monthly. And of course, Friday, 2 new entertaining short films, plus the new video series, My Paranormal Experiences. And so with that, let's get down to it. We're going to do more listener stories, so you guys know what that means. Come on, say it with me. That's right, say it with me. To the story den. Follow me right this way. No pushing, no shoving, and the fires are going blazing. Nice and toasty in here. Grab a beanbag over there in the corner. Find an empty spot on the floor. And while you guys are doing that, get behind my desk here as usual. Okay. And I printed off Britt's packet. Let's see what story she chose for us. Okay. A short one, we got a medium one, and we got a long one. All right. Let me take a sip of my green tea real quick. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. So good when it hits the lips. All right. The first one. This one is by Monkey, and it's titled the visit. Okay, monkey. Let's see what you got, man. I was staying at my parents' house in Augusta for Christmas in 2005. It was a grand old house that I had grown up in, built around the turn of the 20th century. My parents are old-fashioned and insisted that my fiancé and I sleep separately, even though we lived together in Atlanta. Since he is very tall and I am not, I gave him my old room and I slept downstairs on the couch. Even though there were many bedrooms, they had already been occupied by my siblings visiting for the holidays as well. One of my brothers had his chocolate lab there as well, named Lizard, and she was sleeping on another couch facing me. I found it hard to sleep through the night and tossed and turned for most of it. While awake, I heard our other family dog, a yellow lab named Hoke, coming down the hallway towards me. I could hear his nails clicking on the wooden floors and his snuffling breathing as he progressed. Then, I remembered that Hoke had died months ago. The hairs on my back of my neck raised, and I sat up. I looked at the other couch to make sure it wasn't Lizard, but she was sleeping soundly and hadn't moved. I couldn't see around the corner into the hallway from where I was. After a few seconds, the sound of Hoke had dissipated and all was quiet again. I was positive it was him. I was familiar with all the noises he had made, and it was him, and no other dog, ghostly or otherwise. Maybe he was home for Christmas one last time, or maybe a residual memory of him. Cheers! And man, that was for Monkey. Monkey, thank you very much for sharing. Great story. It's a feel-good story. I love these. Yeah, you're not alone. A loved pet that passes away, usually fairly shortly. Sometimes you might see some kind of vision of them, walking down the hallway or running around the house like they used to, or in your case, sounds. Yeah, it happens all the time. Well, that's good. That's a good memory of them. Thank you again for sharing, Monkey. All right. What's next? What do we got? This one is by Busky, and it's titled, My Best Friend. Okay, Busky, let's see what you got, man. About 3 years ago, in April, my best friend Bill died of a drug overdose in a Taco Bell bathroom in Newport, Kentucky. Best friend is really an understatement. He was more like a brother to me. Everybody loved Bill. And the kid was a real genius. Just a one-of-a-kind guy you maybe meet once or twice in your lifetime. Needless to say, I was devastated when I heard the news. About a month later, my dad wanted to drive across the country to check out some land he was thinking about buying. I didn't want to go, but he's on oxygen from this crazy lung disease he got out of nowhere. And so he needed me for carrying stuff and making sure he didn't die. Our first night out, we pull into this nice, newer-looking hotel and get a room. Nothing unusual about it. Just a normal-looking, nice hotel room with all the works. As I was going to sleep, I couldn't stop thinking about Bill, and I tried to contact him. I prayed to him, asking him to please give me some kind of a sign that he was okay. Eventually, I went to sleep. The next morning, my dad was already up early, just sitting up in bed. He would be there for a while because the altitude was getting to his breathing really bad. It was early enough that it was still dark, and I decided to take a shower. I flipped the lights on, hopped in, and I'm showering. When I was washing my hair, I suddenly hear the light switch flick, and then blackness. I wasn't really scared or anything, figuring it was some kind of malfunction, but I was amazed when I reached my hand out and the light switch was actually in the off position. I had to turn it back on myself. Thankfully, it worked. I remember trying to contact Bill the night before, and turning the lights off while I was in the shower seemed like his style, like one of his pranks. I finished up, and when I stepped back into the room, my dad was still sitting on the bed, breathing heavily. I asked him about the light switch. Of course, he just looked confused. Said he'd been there the whole time. And that was that. Thanks, RPA. And man, that was Busky. Busky, thank you very much for sharing. That's a great story. And a feel-good story, if it was, Bill. Yeah, it's too bad about him. Sounds like he died too young. But you never know. Could be a coincidence or maybe not. Like you said, you did, try to talk to him the night before you went to sleep. And, this seems like a style. Light switches flip down to off, yeah? Well, who knows? It happens. Yeah, thanks again for sharing. Yeah, that's a good story. I like that one too. All right, what's next? What do we got? This one is by Slayton, and it's titled Afterlife. Okay, Slayton, let's see what you got, man. My ex-husband was killed instantly by a speeding drunk driver. Paul T. was on his Harley-Davidson motorcycle cruising behind my son, Paul Jr., when he was hit by a speeding car. His body hit the front of the car, knocking the hood up over the windshield, then landed on the top of the car. The driver could not see out to control the car. The Harley went under the front of the car. When the car kept going farther into the concrete barrier, throwing sparks, and then stopped abruptly, his body was thrown over the concrete median onto the inside shoulder of oncoming traffic. My son, Paul Jr., witnessed the driver passing with his dad's body on top of the car and being thrown off onto the ground. That night he felt pressure on his chest and bed like there was someone there. He also saw his dad sitting in a chair that was at the end of the bed. The chair was facing away from the bed, so all that Paul Jr. could see was head and arms. One arm was raised up like maybe saying goodbye. A couple of days later, Paul Jr. received a phone call and didn't answer in time, but there was a voice message left by the caller. Paul Jr. called the number on his caller ID, and the man answered. The man did not know him and said he did not make that call. The message recorded just said, "Hey," in a voice just like his dad's. I live in the same house with Paul Jr., his wife, and two small children. Paul T. also lived in this same house, so we are a pretty close family. Paul T. started a business and handed it over to Paul Jr. to manage and run. They are both mechanics for heavy-duty trucks and are always at a risk of getting hurt. The wake was only 3 days after the accident. Only the immediate family was allowed to attend. His body was so damaged that the only viewing was his face. The top of his head was wrapped in white sheeting to cover the missing gaps. He could not be embalmed due to all the open vessels, which gave no choice for an open casket service. His funeral and burial was on Saturday, September 1st, and many of his family attended. He was blessed with holy water several times. All of us in the house feel that he has tried to make his presence known. Would he harbor any angry feelings after becoming aware of his instant death? I've read that the soul is in an afterlife realm before passing on into the light and meeting with guides for the final journey. We are all wondering if he will return again. Thank you. And that was by Slayton. Slayton. Well, thank you very much for sharing that, and I'm very sorry to hear about this. A lot of deaths is, you never see it coming. It just happens, it's sudden. And those are the worst ones, I think. You get a phone call at work, or You get a phone call at home and you don't expect that a loved one is, gone like that. It sounds like Paul Jr. that night, he saw something sitting in that chair at the foot of his bed. It was facing away from him. He saw a head and arms. Yeah, interesting stuff. The phone call I hear about every once in a while. A message being left, and it sounds like the loved one's voice that just passed. And that's always a curious one. So, yeah, but if Paul Jr. says, yeah, it sounds like Dad's voice, well, there you go. Will he return again? I don't know. He may. I hear about sometimes these loved ones, they don't move on. They stay around. And for years, or maybe months sometimes, And they make their presence known. So, it's not really out there. So I really don't know. You'll just have to wait and see. And very sorry for hearing about the loss. Yeah, Slayton, thank you very much for sharing that. And that is it, guys. That's all the stories that Britt has given me. As always, I'm very flattered that you listen to RPA. We couldn't have done this without you. We're in season 10. We're going to keep on going. We have some plans, even more things coming up in 2024. And hopefully you'll like the new stuff that's coming. And I'm glad you're liking the 2 entertaining short films that comes out on Friday. I hope you're enjoying the new paranormal series, My Paranormal Experiences. And of course, this Thursday, which is a bi-monthly video series as well, is Soul Sisters. Check that out. And of course, go to realparanormalactivity.com or get the RPA app if you don't have the RPA app. Just go to your app store and do a search for Real Paranormal Activity, the podcast network, and download it for free. Stream anytime, anywhere. And with that, I am calling it. The show's been produced by myself and Britt, and it was also made possible by LaFosse Corporation. And man, we love you guys. Oh yeah, we do. As always, thank you, and good night.